Hi, I'm Mickey McGuire from Ukulele Player Magazine, and this is a miniature kind of review of the Ohana Tiple, and also the sound comparison in the D tuning and the C tuning. And for that, we're going to have a couple of audio tracks done in my studio, and those are the first verse basically and the chorus of an Irish pub tune called the Jug of Punch. But that'll give you an idea of what the two sound like in comparison. The D tuning is very popular in Canada. It's very popular among a lot of old jazz players and people from the 1920s and 30s. A lot of sheet music was written for D tuning, and a lot of players today, especially in Canada, are still using D tuning. James Hill's one of those. The D tuning has 2 A's on the first chorus of strings, 3 D's, 3 F sharps, and 2 B's. Now the key is that the A's, one is an octave below the other. In the 3 D strings, the center one is an octave below the other two. The F sharp, same thing, the center is an octave below. And the B's are in unison. So basically, a D is C fingering on the standard tuning for a soprano ukulele, gCEA. So with that, I'm just going to point out a couple things real fast about the instrument, then we'll get to the sound samples, and then at the end I'll wrap it up. The Ohana Tiple is based on the 35 series Ohana ukuleles. If you think of the Ohana Tiple and the TK35, which is the tenor of that series, you're going to see pretty much the same body on there. It's a solid mahogany body. In this case it's trimmed with rosewood. There's a rosewood faceplate on the headstock. Of course, the 10 tuning keys to tune the instrument. It's steel strings. It's a bone nut and saddle. Rosewood bridge. Beautifully crafted, beautifully done. On the initial sample that I have here, there were some intonation issues. We created a video before in the comparison tuning. I pulled it because actually about halfway through the song I realized that the tuning was pretty bad. And it sounded good in open tuning. I started to play, and when I got to bar chords, especially in the finger in the first fret, it was no good. So basically we modified the nut on the unit that I have here. The shipping version of the instrument is going to be fine. Guarantee you that. They already knew there was an issue and they've been taken care of. So basically you won't see that if you go to buy one of these things. You'll have good intonation just like all of the Ohana ukes and the quality you expect. So with that said, I'll get on to the test and the sound samples, and then I'll wrap it up at the end.
One pleasant evening in the month of June, as I was sitting with my glass and spoon, a small bird sat on an ivy bunch, and the song he sang was the Jug of Punch. Tooraloo-aloo, tooraloo-alay, tooraloo-aloo, tooraloo-alay. A small bird sat on an ivy bunch, and the song he sang was the Jug of Punch. One pleasant evening in the month of June, as I was sitting with my glass and spoon, a small bird sat on an ivy bunch, and the song he sang was the Jug of Punch. Tooraloo-aloo, tooraloo-alay, tooraloo-aloo, tooraloo-alay. A small bird sat on an ivy bunch, and the song he sang was the Jug of Punch.
Okay, that wraps it up as far as the sound samples go. Just a couple closing comments here, and then maybe that'll give you a better impression of what the Tiple is and what it can do. The D tuning is standard on the Tiple, like I said before. I think it sounds a little better than the gCEA standard C tuning. The reason being that I think the D tuning has a little more resonance to it. It has a little bit better sustain. I think the string tension makes it a little easier to play, specifically up the neck. So if you're moving going to get better results going up the neck. Certain chords I think sound a little bit better in the D tune anyway. So that's something that you can expect with the instrument. You're going to have personal taste though. You may like it better in gCEA. In fact, Ukulele Bart is playing the other one of these samples, and he is playing it in gCEA. So we kind of put our heads together and compare it a little bit. And Bart is contributing to the review that'll be in the coming issue of Ukulele Player magazine. So you can read all about it, Ukulele Player. That'll be issue 23. And the beautiful thing about this is that you've got a sample ahead of time to whet your appetite. You'll hear all the specifics from the article, and we will post links to the videos. So it's a beautiful instrument. Ohana did a fabulous job with it. I think it's bold to actually come out with a tipple. It's a really unique kind of thing because with steel strings and alternate tunings available for it, it puts you in another realm altogether. So it's not a ukulele. It's not meant to be a ukulele. It's played like a ukulele. I mean, all the chord fingerings are the same, but because it's steel string, it's 4 courses, 2, 3, 3, 2, and it's really meant to kind of compete with a jazz ensemble or play with an orchestra. In fact, it was originally an orchestral instrument, and it was meant to be loud enough to stand up and be heard among all the other instruments. So this is a unique kind of thing. They're not going to make a lot of them, so if you want one of these things, get your hands on one quickly, play it a little bit, test it out. From what I understand right now, the numbers are going to be small at first, at least. So you're not going to see a lot of these floating around. And for now, they're going to be in brick and mortar shops only. They're not going to be mail order, unless the brick and mortar shop, like Ukulele Music for example, they deal online. They have a front door. You can walk in, you can test it, you can see what you like. If you want to buy one, there you go, right there on the spot. Otherwise, you'll have to go to someone who has a brick and mortar shop and an online presence as well. So that's it. The Ohana Tiple, beautiful instrument. I really love it. Highly recommend it. It's a unique playing experience. Once you get used to tuning it, you'll have a blast. Mickey McGuire, Ukulele Player Magazine. Thanks for listening.